Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bets NFL Sunday Week 13. I am Tike, joined as always by Momma Mia. We are representing with the Bears gear heavily today, and rightfully so. But we'll get into that here in a moment, even though we probably both want to dive into that right now. So we're gonna go through a couple things on the video. We're gonna recap things we were looking at for the Thanksgiving Black Friday games. We're gonna give you a quick recap of that. Then we're gonna give you some insights to what we saw about the Bears, and then we're gonna jump right into the remaining games for Week 13. So, Mama Mia, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with what you saw over these past couple games?
All right. Well, I had been pulling for Detroit in that very first game, and yeah, they didn't play very well. They lost to Green Bay at home, 31-24. Was not a good Thanksgiving for the Detroit Lions and their fans. I think they're starting to miss their offensive coordinator. Just saying. But the next game, I picked Dallas over Kansas City, and Dallas won 31-28. That was a good game. That was really a fun game to watch. Kansas City is just having some problems. I don't know. They're going to be in deep doo-doo. They might be out of the playoffs if they keep underperforming here. And then Baltimore, Cincinnati. I went with Baltimore, but my heart was with Cincinnati. And Cincinnati pulled it off 32-14. What is wrong with Lamar Jackson? I don't know, but I think he's got to be benched. I'm just so sick of trying to work with that guy. He's killing me. He's killing me. So Baltimore got their butts handed to them. Joe Burrow, man, I am picking Cincinnati the rest of the season. They're not going to lose a game unless he gets hurt. But I don't think they're going to lose a game as long as he's healthy. And then yesterday, sat at my nephew's. Shout out to Big Patrick, and his beautiful family. We watched the Bears game. And I said I wanted the Bears to win, and I did pick them, and they won 24-15, Tyke. They beat Philadelphia in Philadelphia. So there's my recap so far. I know we'll talk about the Bears in a few minutes, but that's what I so it's 50-50, but I'm happy because it doesn't matter about those other games because the Bears won. So yeah, that was, and really it was okay. All right, so you have some people to recap and talk about. How did you do over the week so far?
I fared okay. So the first player I gave out, I gave Jamar Gibbs to be overperformer. Since Campbell took over play calling, he's just been getting fed the ball. That did not change. He hit 20 carries. However, he definitely did underperform. Green Bay was able to bottle him up. I did see Amon Ra went down. I don't think that helped. I think that only allowed Green Bay to hone in on him a little bit more easily. Gibbs got the ball a lot. He just wasn't. He was just swarmed every time he touched the ball. So Gibbs underperformed. Next player I gave out to overperform was Rashid Rice on Kansas City. He absolutely overperformed. He exceeded his yards, his catches, and he scored a touchdown. So he overperformed in every aspect of it. And then for the Cincinnati Baltimore game, you and I were looking at that similarly. Um, I also took Cincinnati. I thought their defense was going to step up, and they did. So I don't know. Maybe Joe Burrow being out there is helping motivate the defense because that defense was night and day difference versus the couple weeks prior. In Baltimore, they should be a good offense. Lamar agreed. Lamar's killing everyone. If you have Lamar in fantasy like I do, apologies there. Um, but yeah, Lamar is not getting it done. And then we were both on Da Bears, who I think shocked the world a little bit there on Friday, and I couldn't be more thrilled about that. So before we jump into the remaining games for Week 13, let's take a couple moments to talk about the Bears. Mama, what did you see? What are you thinking about the game, the Bears' future? What's on your mind?
I'm dreaming of a Bears Super Bowl. Oh, and it's snowing outside. Oh my God, it's just pinch me, pinch me. I'm out of my mind. Yep, I'm more than drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm under the spigot with it wide open. It's pouring all over my face. I'm just out of my mind. Just completely out of my mind. They were a 7-point underdog. They dominated. They dominated. Philly fans were leaving. Oh my gosh, their poor Thanksgiving was ruined.
Oh, it was the day after Thanksgiving, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was like their Thanksgiving game, you know. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah. Oh, they look sharp. From they never were behind. That they just completely scrubbed them. Oh my gosh. What did you think about the game?
Well, I loved every second of it. Um, did think it was interesting. All three Thanksgiving games and the Black Friday game, all the underdogs won. So 4-0 for the underdogs so far to start this week. Green Bay, Cincinnati, and Dallas, and the Bears all won. But for the Bears, overcoming the amount of, I mean, the Eagles' offensive line is, for the past couple years, has been their bread and butter, their tush push. The Bears, with all the defensive injuries, all of the starting linebackers out, including even a backup linebacker being out, and then shutting down the tush push and really owning that line of scrimmage on the offense and defensive side is something I don't think I've ever seen the Bears do against a top caliber team. So that was extremely great to watch. The offensive line earned the game ball, and rightfully so. They were moving the Eagles everywhere they wanted them to be. You didn't hear Jalen Carter's name once, I don't think. I didn't hear it. That offensive line came to play. Nashawn Wright with the strip on Jalen Hurts at the tush push was fantastic. Took the page right out of the Cowboys playbook on that one. Although the Cowboys got screwed on the play, the Bears were able to take advantage of it. Bears, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I came into the season, I said I was going to keep my expectations low because the Bears constantly break my heart. They disappoint me all the time. And now I'm back to it. I'm all in. I don't think I've been this excited for Chicago Bears football going into December in 20 years. So I'm all in. I'm with you. I'm under the spigot with you. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid. I'm looking up Super Bowl tickets that are outrageously expensive I can't afford. That's where I'm at with the Bears. The Bears ran for how many yards did the Bears run for, Mama?
283,000 or something like that.
Something like 283,000 yards ran against the Eagles. And Caleb Williams still had 34 pass attempts. Ben Johnson, I need a Ben Johnson jersey. He called the perfect game plan for that game. He got ahead. The Bears just kept chipping away that resiliency that they have. They just constantly are keeping pressure on opposing teams. And they just slowly beat you up. In this game, they got ahead and they stayed ahead. So that was a nice recipe to be able to see to be brought out. I'm all in. I'm loving that Ben Johnson's our head coach. I was very vocal and upset when we didn't even interview Jim Harbaugh, and now I don't even care about Jim Harbaugh at all. It's Ben Johnson. Just the way he's got the locker room, he's got the team's buy-in. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the Bears are going to continue doing these next couple of years with the Bears.
Yeah.
With Ben Johnson, I think you can see the difference between Ben Johnson and Nagy, first-time head coaches, having success here. Nagy was a fraud, and I don't get any bad impressions or feelings about uh, about Ben Johnson. I do think it was interesting. One thing I'll say is last year on Black Friday, Bears fired Matt Eberflus. 1 year later, Bears 9-3, leading their division, beating the NFC or the Super Bowl defending champions. So, what a difference a true leader in the locker room can make. I think it's Ben deserves his flowers for what he's doing, and I'm sure he's got more aspirations to come. All right, let's dive.
I think this is the tip. This is the tip of it. They're just starting to buy in. They're just starting to get rolling. And I think Dennis Allen, he's been doing a fantastic job too. And Bieniemy with the running backs, and who's the special teams? Hightower. They're all starting to really gel. Like they are really all getting on the same page, and it's going to scare the crap out of other teams. It's gotta. Look out, Packers.
Look out, Packers.
We're coming for you.
Yeah, Bears have Packers this week. Well, take that back. Week 14. Then the Bears have the Browns, and then we play the Packers again. We have the Packers 2 out of the next 3 weeks. All right, let's dive into Week 14. Mamma Mia, you want to go ahead and get us started?
Ooh, okay. Well, there's a couple of games that had me kind of intrigued. One of them is the Houston and Indianapolis game. And Houston defense is on a little bit of a tear here. They are getting back C.J. Stroud, I believe. And the other quarterback is the one I'm going to talk about is Daniel Jones. I'm kind of worried about him. He is going to be home. The Colts are giving up 4.5. Okay, I can't read my writing. Anyway, he's got a leg issue. It's unconfirmed. Steichen is saying he's going to play. They won't confirm that it's a broken fibula. And Daniel Jones is ranked 10th in fantasy points. He's averaging 21.5 points. He's projected for this game for 19.4. But if you go back and you look at his history this year, his lowest points, fantasy points in a game was against the Rams. At the Rams, of course. Only scored 12 fantasy points in week 4. He's got 17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but he leads the league in fumbles with 8. I'm not confident that he's gimpy. He's kind of shaken up. I don't know. They had a big loss there again in OT against Kansas City last week. We'll see. I'll be surprised if they win. I think Houston's pinning their ears back because Houston is desperate for the playoffs, and Colts might just be ready for the taking. They've had 293 rushing attempts versus 355 passing attempts so far. And now against the Rams, I'm guessing they're going to be playing from behind. I think they should continue to run the ball with that Taylor guy. Not Taylor Swift, Jonathan Taylor. And but I think they're gonna think they're smarter. The offensive coordinator always thinks, and it's Steichen who's gonna go, let's start passing the ball, and they're going to be behind. So I think they're going to be passing the ball, and that's where they're going to get into some trouble. I think Houston's going to really come after them, and Danny Dimes is going to have a hard day. He's not going to get 19.4 fantasy points, and I don't know if I'm picking Indianapolis to win, but Houston's only given up 182 points against them all year. So this is going to be a good game. This is one that I got circled on the calendar. How about you, Tike? You got anybody to talk about?
I do. So yes, that is going to be a good game. I think divisional game. I could see it being a little bit of a trap game for the Colts. Hopefully they're not looking too far ahead. But first player I'm looking at, I've got 2, both running backs. Shocker, shocker. First player I'm looking at Breece Hall on the New York Jets. taking Brees Hall to overperform. He's projected 15 fantasy points. I think he's going to over. I think he's going to overexceed that. I think he's going to overexceed that probably more from the receiving side. He's only projected to have 20 receiving yards. Um, since Tyrod Taylor has taken over quarterback duties, Brees Hall is getting a lot more opportunities to receive out of the backfield. Tyrod Taylor is actually dumping the ball off when Justin Fields would just take the ball and run, and normally just run right past Brees Hall or make Brees Hall be a blocker for him. Since Tyrod Taylor's taken over for Justin Fields, Brees Hall is averaging 41 receiving yards per game in the last 3 games. He's got 4+ receptions in 2 out of those 3 games. And then on top of that, the New York Jets are at home against the Falcons. And somehow the Jets are still supposed to lose. They're still underdogs at home against the Falcons. So they're only 3-point dogs, but they are underdogs. So I could see Brees Hall getting fed the ball often. Garrett Wilson is still out. The Jets don't have a lot of offensive weapons. And the Falcons are a team that Brees Hall should be able to do some damage against. So I'm taking Brees Hall to exceed 15 fantasy points. And I think he's going to do a lot of damage out of receiving from the backfield. All right, Mama, what else are you looking at?
Well, I agree with you. I think the Jets are going to surprise some people. Atlanta's driven me nuts. I put one point on the confidence pool for New York to win. I just can't stand the way Atlanta's playing. And I don't know. They got Kirk Cousins back there now. You just don't know what's going to go on with that team. Yeah, I think you're right there. Well, my next player I'm going to talk about is Rico Dowdle. He's in Carolina. They got the Rams coming in. So this is a really good defense that they're going to be going against. I'm going to say he's going to underperform. He's projected for 14.35 fantasy points. He averages 14.2. So he's projected for 16 carries, 69 yards, 4 catches for 23 yards, no TDs. Last week against San Francisco, he had 6 carries for 38 yards, 4 catches for 36 yards, 10 fantasy points. I just don't see it. The Rams have only given up 179 points all season, score against them. Lowest points against in the NFL. They give up an average rushing yard of about 4.3 yards per carry. So I think Carolina and Young are going to have to be passing the ball. And it's going to, they're against a better defense. They just don't have it. When they played New England, he had 9 carries for 36 yards. He got 4 fantasy points. I don't see him having a banner day here. I think he's going to struggle. So I think the Rams are for real and really going to be hard to beat. I've got a lot of points on the Rams this week. So that's what I got. What else you got?
So the last player I have, I'm looking at Broncos running back R.J. Harvey. I was pretty high on him start of the season. He started off a little slow. J.K. Dobbins really had that backfield in a grasp. Now that Dobbins is out, Harvey is paving his way to be the number 1 RB there. Harbaugh does like to bring in other running backs. Harvey's been doing well, but he did not get the touchdown last week. Sean Payton gave it to one of the other backs. However, this week Harvey should be in line for a pretty good workload. He's only projected 13 fantasy points, and he's only projected 50 rushing yards. So they're going up against Washington. Broncos are a pretty big favorite here. They should run the ball pretty heavily. This is a game where Sean Payton might be able to get ahead and see what his rookie running back can do without, risk of a fumble or a bonehead move that's going to cost him a game. This is probably one of the games where Sean Payton can just let him run loose and see what he can do. So that is what I'm expecting. Top of that, Washington is extremely susceptible to the run. They're allowing the 9th most yards per carry to opposing running backs this season. They're allowing or yards before contact. I'm sorry, they're allowing 2.3 net positive yards before they're even initiating contact with opposing running backs. And on top of that, Washington is allowing the fifth most rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. They're allowing 113 yards per game to opposing running backs so far this season. And then just to kind of pile it on a little bit more, Washington is extremely weak against man run schemes. And that's where that's RJ Harvey's bread and butter. RJ Harvey is averaging 5.94 yards per carry on man runs so far this season. So it just lines up pretty well. I think RJ Harvey could be in for a pretty big game here against Washington. They're favorites. He should get the ball often, and everything is just leaning RJ Harvey's way to have a pretty stellar game here. So I think he's going to exceed that 13 fantasy points, and I think he's definitely going to exceed the 50 rushing yards that he's projected as well. All right, Mamma Mia, what else do you have?
Oh, let's see. So I talked about a couple of games that I had circled. And what I was trying to say is Houston is getting 4.5 points in that game, which I think they're going to cover. The Rams are giving Carolina 10.5. I don't see Carolina covering. Another really good game is Arizona is going into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is pretty banged up. I'm worried about that Baker guy. But they're still giving up 3 points to Arizona. So that's a popcorn ready game for sure. And the other game is Buffalo's going into Pittsburgh. But both of those teams have got to win. These are all these games have playoff implications, and they're going to be fun to see. So have a snuggle up tomorrow. We got a little bit of snow today, and it's beginning to look like winter. Feel like it.
Yeah.
So we actually had a pretty good fall, but I think it's gone. What else do you got? I'm done. That's all I got.
Not much on my radar. Not a huge fan of the games this week. The one game I do have circled is I have Vikings going into Seahawks. Sam Darnold. I think Minnesota's kicking themselves for not keeping him or keeping Danny Dimes. But we will see. I did see a stat out there comparing J.J. McCarthy to Jamarcus Russell, their first 6 games. And Jamarcus Russell's stats are so much better than J.J. McCarthy's through 6 games. I don't have it in front of me. I was looking for it. I seem to have lost it. I'll see if I can find it for the next video. But J.J. McCarthy needs to step it up because his numbers are horrible. He needs to turn this around quickly, and the Vikings are sitting here with egg on their face, letting those 2 other quarterbacks go and keeping him over them. And I think Sam Darnold is going to show them that they made a mistake this weekend as well. So that
game's in Seattle, so
it is in Seattle. So that's all I've got. Good, better, best. Don't let it rest. Till your good gets better and your better gets best. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everyone.